morning, y'all. Our verses for today come from Romans chapter 5. You see, at just the right time, when we were still powerless, Christ died for the ungodly. Very rarely will anyone die for a righteous person, though for a good person someone might possibly dare to die. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. What are some of the best feelings this life has to offer? Think about it for a moment. The best feelings that come with this life. Maybe for some of you, a feeling of peace or relief came to mind. You had a big test you were preparing for, some kind of project, or maybe there was a date or some situation in the future, and it was stressing you out, and you were feeling worry and anxiety. And then finally you get to that date, that situation, that thing you have to turn in, whatever it is, and it's over, it's behind you, and you feel that peace. You feel that relief of not having that on your shoulders anymore. What are the best feelings this life has to offer? Maybe for some of you it was the feeling of accomplishment or achievement or recognition. You got a big project that you've been working on, or something happened at work and you've been trying to get to this certain point, or maybe it was at a sporting event or some extracurricular activity. You've been putting a lot of time and effort into whatever it is, and then finally the day comes when you can turn it in. And you have a product that you can be proud of, and you feel that sense of achievement. I want to suggest that there is maybe one feeling in this life that is more powerful and more beautiful and more wonderful than any feeling. And it's the feeling of knowing that you are loved. And I didn't say the feeling of love, which can be a wonderful and beautiful and powerful thing, but rather the feeling of knowing that you are loved. And you see what that implies. When you know that you are loved, it means that that love has been tested. Right? So say for just a moment that you mess up in a big way and you hurt a significant other, you hurt a close friend, you hurt some other loved one, and you realize that you messed up real bad. And you realize you probably don't deserve to be forgiven. You've broken this individual's trust. And so knowing that you might not be forgiven, that friendship might be over, you go to them and you say, I'm sorry. I feel really lousy. I messed up. I betrayed your trust, and that was wrong. Will you forgive me? But rather than not forgiving you, rather than giving you the cold shoulder, that individual says, I forgive you and I love you. That feeling, knowing that you are loved, even though you messed up, it's beautiful and it's wonderful and it's powerful. This verse that we just read from Romans chapter 5, it spells it out so clearly. Christ died while you and I were still sinners. God demonstrates His love in this, that He sent His Son to die even though you and I were sinners. There is no more sure love to be found here on earth. I want to close today with just a little exercise to help us understand exactly what that verse means. We're going to call this the generous sin counting exercise. So I want you to imagine for just a moment that you only sin 3 times a day. I personally think that's being pretty generous, just thinking about my own life. But imagine you only sin 3 times a day. You count up all your thoughts, all your actions, all your attitudes and motivations, everything you say, and only 3 times a day are they wrong or misguided. Only 3 times a day are they hateful or spiteful or pointed towards someone else in a negative way. So you do 3 times a day, you multiply that by 365 days a year. To make the math simple, will come out to 1,000. 1,000 sins a year, and that's a very generous estimate, right? So keeping the math simple, now add up how old you are. If you're 16, that's 16,000 sins in your lifetime. If you're 18,000 sins. I am 31, so that is 31,000 sins in my lifetime, and that's generous. And God knew that. God knew exactly every single time that you would sin. He knew what the exact number would be, and it'd be far greater than however many thousand. And yet, while you were that sinner, That's when God sent his Son to die for you, so that you might be his child. That's a love that was tested, and yet God decided to extend it to you and I anyways. You are loved. Let's close with a prayer. Father in heaven, thank you for this message. We ask that each and every day it would be our waking thought and our closing thought, how dearly loved we are by you. It's a love that has been tested as far as we go. We have messed up, we continue to mess up, and you see that sin, and you know each and every single one of our sins, and yet, regardless of that fact, while we were stuck in our sin, you sent your Son. Lord, keep our hearts and minds here each and every day, so that as we interact with those around us, we might have opportunities to pass this love along, so that others get a glimpse of it as well. It's been good being with you today, even though it was over video. Just a reminder, starting Tuesday, September 21st, so coming up very quickly here, at the church at Summers on Green Bay Road, 1520 Green Bay Road, we'll be offering coffee from 3 to 5:30 every Tuesday. It's just a place for you to come, to study, to hang out, to have a conversation with a friend. I'll be there making you lattes, hot or cold, or decaf or regular coffee as well. Hope to see you if you can make it. There's more flyers at the office. God's blessings. You'll have a wonderful day.
Holy, 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 our God is on the throne. So firm is his foundation, no power can overthrow. And he shall reign forever and ever. One name outlasts the ages, through time his truth revealed. While kings may pass like shadows, our God is sovereign still, and he shall reign forever and ever. And he shall reign forever and ever.
Let's start over, please, or just keep rolling. Keep rolling.